Hi, I'm David from Extreme Vocal Institute, and this is John from Moontooth, and we're going to talk to you about lips, and we're going to talk to you about hips. How do you handle touring in colder weather and keeping everything fresh and open here?
Well, I mean, it's all about like where you warm up. I think again, let me preface everything that I'm going to say tonight with I was not trained. I've had some friends who have been trained who have like told me some things that I try to keep in my head. So my method, if you want to call it that, is a little bit unorthodox, but I find that it works for me. Try to get in the venue, warm up my voice with my limbs too. You know, so if it's warmer in the venue, your muscles are going to loosen up more. So try to just get out of the cold the best you can. The elements are something you got to think about.
Definitely. I'm glad you think about the whole full body concept of that, because not a lot of people realize how much your entire person is incorporated to the way you perform. Like, you can eventually, over like a period of time doing this for long enough, tell how loose everything is affects how things will work here, or rather how not loose you are and how tense you are can negatively affect things.
And it's also a question of like what your goals are in terms of being a singer. You know, it depends on what kind of band. If you want to just scream your head off, like you can. There's no real rules. You know what I mean? But like if you want to get some longevity out of it, and if you want to, especially making the switch, like I scream every now and again, but it's very, very few and far between. A couple times. But
you sprinkle them throughout.
It's very few. But like people like yourself, like if you're screaming and singing melodically, you have to do a lot. You have to consider the fact that you can break a guitar string and replace it on stage, but if you mess up your voice, it's gonna take you a couple days to heal up.
When you're up there doing your thing, I can sense a lot of different directions you're thinking in with your voice, and you get a lot of different sounds going on at the same time. And I was wondering what some of your vocal influences were leading up to being in this band and doing everything that you're doing now.
So I'm an R&B kind of guy, Otis Redding is my hero.
Okay.
This is gonna turn into more of me talking about Otis Redding and less of me talking about singing.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Go for it.
I love a lot of singers from that time and a lot of his contemporaries so much. What I love about him is like you can hear pain in his voice. You know what I mean? Like there's a pain to it, and like you can attribute that to like raspiness or something like that. But when it comes down to it, it's just something deep down. Sam Cooke, obviously like branching off into the rock world. Jeff Buckley is, like when I was younger, I loved Brandon Boyd, I loved Incubus a lot. Amy Winehouse.
It's a lot of just like the soul behind it, and being able to actually hear the emotion behind what's been written, and being able to replicate that kind of emotion every day. Yeah.
Well, there's a Miles Davis quote. The note's 20% of it, but he said the attitude of the motherfucker who plays it is 80% of it. And it's so true. If it's not coming from a real place, and it's not just as a singer, but like any musician, any artist, like anybody, like if you don't feel what you're doing, you're not going to do it well. And if you feel what you're doing and you start to do it well, then it's important to take care of yourself physically and make sure that you can continue to do it.
We work on the technicalities of things and understanding the mechanics of the voice, but everything you're singing has to come from somewhere, and there has to be a reason why you're doing what you're doing. Another thing a lot of vocalists, I feel like, might kind of oversee is placing value into the crowd in front of them. Like, it's very easy to kind of just like get very used to the daily, everyday, like going through the motions, but being able to value each crowd every night individually and work everyone and make sure you keep everyone engaged. There's really an art form to that. Where does that kind of come from for you? Is that something that came naturally, or is that something that you kind of learned and came to understand over time?
Both. I mean, I've always been very like, I've always had a big mouth, you know what I mean? Like I've always been making my family laugh, and growing up, I was just loudmouth.
Just entertaining the people you care about.
Yeah, exactly. The people that I love, and like you know, it's the kind of thing when you grow up and you say something, you act in a certain way, and you see the people you love laughing, and you see that you're making them happy. You start to pay attention, and you start to learn like let me focus in on this and like how I can help make people happy. And so it definitely has to do with how I grew up for sure. I always you talk to any of my friends, they'll tell you fucking Johnny Boy is always. You know, I cut my teeth touring as a drummer. You know, so like it doesn't matter if you're playing drums, bass, singing, whatever. The crowd is I think it's equal parts of it, you know. And as it was different as a drummer, of course. As a singer, part of your job is to like you need to interpret what the crowd's doing and read them. And again, here's the preface: like different people like to perform in different ways, but I think the best performances that I saw growing up and what I truly loved was. People who put on a great show, and like part of your job as a quote unquote front man is to connect with the people, because a good show is not a band on stage going buck wild. A good show is an entire venue that found some way to connect on some kind of thing. So it's not just about a band and a crowd, it's about the whole room full of people, including the band, doing something together. You have to be careful, because like if you see people are not getting into it, you can't just say like, why aren't you into this? Because that's just going to cheer people. Nobody wants to hear that. When a singer says like, if a singer has to say, I don't want to see everybody doing yada 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 more than once, then it's your fault, man. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
It becomes stale.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be put on the spot like that. You know what I mean? Like you just try to make people feel comfortable and like remind people like, hey man, you know, like, I might be acting like a lunatic up here, but we're all here for the same reason, to forget our insecurities and to just feel comfortable and feel loved
and leave the day-to-day behind and kind of let go of everything that you've been feeling throughout.
And most importantly, I think the strength that the band and the crowd, every person in the room, may find in those moments of inhibition can fuel their day-to-day life. Going to rock and roll shows, these heroes saved my life because they taught me confidence. They taught me, you know, like you can fall in love with something and you can feel alive, and you can apply that to everything else in your life. You don't need to tuck your head all down all the time and be afraid of everything. So I hope people walk out of our shows with, you know, courage and some drive to like make their lives better, you know?
Yeah, all you can hope is to take the words that you're singing and hope that inspires somebody out there to make some sort of change.
Absolutely. You know, we do this because we have to do it to heal and grow. But we could do this in our basement and heal and grow in our own way. We share it with the world in the hopes that other people will be able to use it to heal and grow in their own ways. In the moment of a show, it's important to remember, like, it's a rock and roll show, baby. Like,
there's gotta be soul.
Let's dance, let's have fun. Don't worry about, like, bettering yourself. In the moment, like, just, like, let go, dance, have fun, laugh, be silly, you know? Apply it to your own life. Think, like, you know what, I felt good tonight, you know? Like, I want to feel good more. I'm going to make some good, healthy choices for myself, and, you know.
How's it feeling playing the new stuff live before I get to the next thing?
Great, and also scary.
Yes.
Some of the stuff that we've had some practice with, great. Yeah, it feels really good. Like, emotionally, it feels refreshing to be playing the new stuff and the stuff that you're emotionally closer to dealing with playing live. But then, of course, there's also the thing of just like, you know, I got to get my voice back up there, you know, and recording. You know, you're prepared. Hopefully, a person is preparing, and your voice is like,
and you're
ready
conditioning
to go.
yourself for it.
Yes, exactly. And you're home, and you can live healthy. On tour, you know, some of the new songs that you haven't played so long, like they're new songs, so you haven't thought about playing them. So
and you haven't built the muscle memory necessarily for them yet, and you don't know how you're going to move to it.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that in situations like today, where you find yourself suddenly with more time than usual to like and playing new things when you might not necessarily be comfortable yet?
So here's the thing. Here's a perfect answer for you, but it's also a very general answer. It's not specific to vocals, but it's important. I think, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I think it's important in life. But speaking as an entertainer, if you have a challenge, rise to the challenge. Hardships, any kind of challenge thrown your way, it's the easiest thing in the world to be like, well, I'm not ready for this, you know, we haven't played this song in so long, we haven't done it. It's the easiest thing in the world to do that.
To let the little things stress you out.
If you have something like that thrown in your face, it's however unsettling it might be, I think it's important to remember that, like, this is a blessing. This is a chance for me to learn and to try my best and, like, to jump into the fucking frying pan, you know what I mean? Like,
the chance to take a risk and make a mistake is amazing. It's a great thing.
It's the only way people can move forward. I'm doing something that I know in my heart I feel is right. I'm not going any kind of route. Like, a person knows when they're in their heart, when they're where they belong or not. You know
of course,
what I mean? Like,
always.
And if once you find that, if you feel true, if you keep following that, if you find that true path, tie the blindfold on and never take it off. Always take those blind steps, because like that trust, that faith in that true path, like, it'll never let you down, you know? Karma will come back to you, and it's the only way to get better. And so, like, yeah, I think I kind of answered that question.
Trust yourself, take the leap of faith. But
be careful, you know. Be careful, and be careful a little bit, be careful, you know.
Be careful, but don't be careful.
Trust in yourself.
How important is it with you, and how important do you think it is to incorporate different things movement-wise into what you're doing?
Oh, incredibly important for me personally, yeah.
Where does that come from for you?
In part, it comes from, like, the heroes that, like, I learned from, like, from growing up, seeing these people and just being wide-eyed and seeing what they do. And, like, that's the spirit of rock and roll, is just taking other ideas and making it your own.
Yeah.
Which I will say, as a side comment, can go in different places, because there are certain bands and certain people that will take that and just like, well, let me just, like, do what they do and, like, wear the clothes they wear and sing exactly the way they sing.
Yeah, and try and follow a template.
Yeah, and fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I could dress like Robert Plant and fucking move around like him and sound exactly like him, you know, but
what would that mean? If you just did the same thing?
It wouldn't mean a damn thing, and it would also teach kids that, you know, they have to emulate other people and they can't be themselves. So it's important that, like, like, you could look at my vocals and you can see who I like if you picked it apart. And that's what I try to do as a singer, is like, these influences come in, let me try to make it my own thing. You gotta put your own flavor on it, you know, because that's what's gonna teach younger people to, like, be themselves, and that's the most important thing in the world. Part of that desire in me to move around and be very active physically comes from the heroes that people that I love growing up watching. But I mean, like, I think a little bit is rooted in, like, I'm Italian, you know what I mean? Like, we're very vocal and, like, physical, you know,
talking with your hands, talking with your whole body.
Footage of this, you'll probably see me talking this whole time, like, this is the place where you can, like, cut back and show clips of me being like, you know.
Exactly. It's just ingrained in your personality, kind of. So it's just an honesty to it too.
Yeah, but it's also part of the job. Like, you know, if like, I love indie rock and I love lots of different types of music. But if I were doing a solo tour as just like me and an acoustic guitar, I wouldn't be fucking, you know, like, it wouldn't make sense, you know. But, like, I play in a rock and roll band. If I'm not singing, then it's a chance for me to, like, let what my brothers are doing melodically flow into me and hopefully sing and, like, show people what it feels like to, like, let the music kind of take over. I know how pretentious this sounds.
No, but it's just such a true thing in terms of being able to let yourself. A lot of people in, like, rock and metal are definitely afraid to let themselves feel things.
I am. Yeah, I definitely.
And who isn't?
You know, I say these things, but that doesn't mean I'm not afraid up there. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the whole point of courage. Like, there's no such thing as courage without fear. You know, if a person's going to be courageous, they're being courageous because they're afraid. Like, you know, like, everyone's afraid to get up there. Like, I'm afraid to get up there, but, like, the feeling that it comes to, just, like, letting go. Like, God damn, think about when you're in your room and no one's around, and it just feels good to just be weird, and, you know, like, it feels good to get up there and hopefully encourage other people to do the same thing.
Yeah, let loose and show other people that it's okay to do the same.
Exactly.
I'm David from Extreme Vocal Institute, and this is John from Moontooth, and we'll see you soon.